Hey boxing fans, sad day for boxing. I just want to talk about Emanuel Steward passing away. First of all, he was a great trainer, but he was also a great amateur fighter. He won the Golden Gloves and also went on to become a trainer after. And I think just at the age of 26, he had 6 or 7 amateur fighters that he trained who had gone on. All of them had gone on to win the Golden Gloves. So if you think about the knowledge he had at just 26 as a trainer, it's incredible. What he did for Detroit was amazing. Opening the Kronk gym, he brought a lot of kids off the street, made them into champions. Got them feeling like they were part of the family. And a lot of those kids came from broken families, and he sort of made them feel like this was their family. The Kronk gym. He trained some incredible fighters over the years: Wilfred Benitez, Julio Cesar Chavez, Miguel Cotto, De La Hoya, Nassim Hamid, Lennox Lewis, Vladimir Klitschko, Tommy Hearns, of course. So he was an incredible trainer. He always seemed to, for me, he always seemed like, you've always heard that saying, the people's champion. For me, it always seemed like he was the people's trainer. He always had time for people, whether you're a fan, whether you're a world champion, whether you're an amateur boxer. Seemed to have time to sit down with you and pass on his boxing knowledge. I remember an interview recently where he talks about who was his favourite boxer to train and work in the corner with. He talked about that boxer being Tommy Hearns, and the great nights he had with him. The buzz he got out of the ring walk towards the ring. So he had some great nights with Tommy Hearns, but he also changed a lot of boxers' careers, like Lennox Lewis. Me being a Brit, we always knew Lennox had ability, but it seemed like Emanuel Steward really brought it out of him and made him become the world champion he was. Also, Vladimir Klitschko, it's the first fight he worked with Vladimir Klitschko. They hadn't worked for that long, but Vladimir lost that fight. But Manny picked out the bad things from that fight and worked on them and improved Vladimir Klitschko, and now he's probably the best heavyweight champion in the world at the moment. I also want to talk about the American amateur side of boxing. Manny always preferred working with the amateur boxers, and right now American amateur boxing is at an all-time low. But Manny did so much for amateur American boxing. It was an incredible amount of work he put into it, and I'm just hoping there's somewhere out there in America, a young boxing trainer, or even an ex-fighter who wants to go into training, that will look at Emanuel Steward, look at his career, and think to myself, I want to help amateur American boxing like he did and revive it. So hopefully, he will, hopefully that will happen. Someone will follow in his footsteps. Manny didn't just help amateur American boxing. Also, he revived boxing in Detroit. Also, he was just a man of the people. He really was. He was a man of the people. And there'll be an interview that I'm gonna post on the description. I'll post a link where he talks about how boxing has changed when he first started training. Fighters wanted to train and work on what they were going to look like in the ring on fight night, how they're going to perform, because nowadays it seems like fighters are more worried about what music they will play on the ring walk. And it is true. Boxing has become very showbiz, and Manny, that's what I loved about him. He was pretty old school, but he seemed like a friend to all. Manny, he really did. I've heard a lot of people say that he trained a number of fighters, and he'd be there in Germany training Vladimir Klitschko, and then all of a sudden he'll be flying over to the States to work on an undercard fight for a young fighter that he's training at the moment, who's probably had 4 or 5 fights. He really had time for everyone and made everyone feel important. It's incredible, incredible trainer that's going to be missed by fighters, fans. You know, it's just boxing's just not going to be the same without him in a way. And you know, I just want to thank him as a boxing fan. I just want to thank him for what he did as a trainer. Watching him produce all these great champions that gave us great nights. Listening to him talking in the corner to his fighters, I always enjoyed that. And his knowledge that he passed on to us fans, you know, listening to him commentate on HBO, you know, it was just an honour to listen to the man talking. And the boxing world is mourning. Detroit especially must be mourning. But you know, how I said, you know, he changed American amateur boxing, put a lot of work into it. Put a lot of work into Detroit, helped a lot of kids out there. And put a lot of work into boxing itself, pro boxing, you know, and just want to thank you for all of that, you know. And well, I just want to say thank you, Emanuel Steward. Rest in peace. And you know, boxing ain't gonna be the same, but thank you again. Give us your thoughts, guys. Stories, if you've got any stories of Emanuel Steward, it'd be great if you can pass them on and write. Give us some comments and how you felt about the man. And yeah, so a bit heartbroken here, guys. Really am. But Emanuel Steward, gone but never forgotten. Thank you very much, Emanuel Steward.